Everyone is praising the Sony RX1R III, but no one is telling you the truth. Yes, it has a 6.1 MP full-frame sensor and Zeiss lens, but the real problems might shock you. If you're thinking of buying this camera, you need to watch this full video. Let's start with the part that many people overlook, the limitations. Yes, this camera is incredible in some ways, but it does have some challenges that you should be aware of before making any decision. First off, one of the things that stands out immediately is the lack of image stabilization. Unlike many modern mirrorless cameras, this camera doesn't have IBIS built in. That means if you're shooting handheld, especially in low light, you might notice a little shakiness. It's not a deal breaker for everyone, but it's something to keep in mind if you're someone who loves shooting without a tripod. Another thing is the fixed lens design. The RX1R III comes with a 35mm Zeiss f2 lens that is beautiful and produces stunning sharpness. But you can't swap lenses. No wide angle, no telephoto, no zoom. That means you're limited to that single focal length, which works for street photography or portraits. But if you like flexibility in your shooting style, this could feel a bit restrictive. Then there's the screen design. The camera has a compact screen that tilts slightly, but it's not fully articulating. So, if you want to vlog, do selfies, or get creative angles, it's not as convenient as some other cameras that have a fully articulating display. And of course, the price. This camera is premium, sitting around $5,000. That's a serious investment. While it's portable and delivers incredible image quality, for that price, some photographers might expect more features, like interchangeable lenses, full stabilization, or advanced video options. Speaking of video, the RX1R III does shoot 4K, which is great for cinematic shots, but compared to other cameras in the market, it's not as versatile for video. There's number 8K, no high frame rate video, and the video-focused features are limited. So, if you're thinking of using it as a full-fledged video tool, you might need to weigh that carefully. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this camera is bad. Far from it. The reason I start with these points is to give you a realistic view, so you know what to expect. Because once you understand these aspects, you can really appreciate what this camera excels at. And that's where the RX1R III truly shines. Let's talk about the features that make this camera so special first. The 61-megapixel full-frame sensor. Yes, 6.1 MP. This means the detail you get in your shots is mind-blowing. Whether you're printing large images or cropping tightly, the amount of information in every photo is incredible. Combine that with the Zeiss 35mm f2 lens, and you get images that are razor-sharp, full of color accuracy and almost cinematic in quality. It's compact, yes, but don't let that fool you. The quality competes with much larger setups. Portability is another huge advantage. This is a full-frame camera you can literally carry in your bag without feeling weighed down. Street photographers, travelers, and people who love shooting spontaneously will find this a dream. You get the quality of a professional full-frame camera without the bulk. The autofocus is surprisingly smart, even though it's not a massive camera body. The AI-assisted autofocus tracks faces and subjects very well for portrait photography, street shots, and even some casual video work. It's responsive and reliable. And even though video isn't its strongest suit, the 4K recording it offers is still very usable for casual cinematic work. You can get smooth footage, and with good lighting, it performs really well. Another subtle but powerful advantage is the image rendering and color science. Sony has tuned this camera to produce files that are rich in detail, with excellent dynamic range and very natural skin tones. Even in post-processing, you have plenty of room to work without losing quality. Now, let's take a step back and look at the timeline of this camera. The Sony RX1R III was first officially launched in 2025, and at the time, it was immediately considered a niche powerhouse. Photographers were excited about having a full-frame sensor in such a compact body, and the Zeiss 35mm lens only added to the appeal. For some, it was the perfect combination of portability and professional-level quality. But here's the reality. Because of its premium price tag and certain limitations, it didn't become a mainstream hit. Fast forward to 2026, and suddenly the hype around this camera is back. Why? Well, leaks and rumors about possible improvements, discussions on social media forums, and some early reviews have reignited interest. People are now debating whether the RX1R III is still worth it compared to newer, mirrorless cameras that offer features like interchangeable lenses, built-in stabilization, and advanced video modes. This renewed attention has created a fascinating situation. Some are still dazzled by the incredible image quality, while others are cautious because of the things we discussed earlier, like the fixed lens and lack of stabilization. It's a classic case of expectation versus reality, which makes this camera such a compelling subject for discussion. But let's not forget that even though it's being scrutinized now, many professionals continue to use it for very specific purposes: street photography, travel, and any situation where carrying a heavy camera setup is impractical. And here's an important reality check: even in 2026, the RX1R III can still produce images that compete with cameras double its price. That's a big reason the hype has resurfaced. Now, circling back to the user experience, the RX1R III may have its faults, but understanding them allows you to make the most of its strengths. The fixed lens might seem limiting at first, but photographers who specialize in street or portrait work find that it forces creative composition. The lack of stabilization can be mitigated with a tripod or careful hand-holding techniques. And once you master its nuances, you start seeing results that are hard to beat for such a compact device. And even with its video limitations, many content creators are learning to use it creatively, shooting at 4K, pairing it with gimbals or stabilizers, and leveraging the excellent color science allows the RX1R III to produce cinematic quality clips that still impress viewers. So while it may not replace a full professional video setup, it certainly can supplement one in very effective ways. Another point worth mentioning is how Sony has marketed this camera. Unlike many newer cameras that boast dozens of must-have features, the RX1R III keeps it simple. It's focused on core photography performance, which explains why some enthusiasts still consider it a gem despite its age. And this simplicity, paired with the renewed social media hype, has brought attention back to a camera that many may have overlooked. At this stage, it's clear that whether you're drawn to the RX1R III for its sharp images, compact form, or just the renewed hype, the key is to understand both the advantages and disadvantages before making a purchase. It's about knowing what you're getting, not just chasing the excitement, so that your expectations align with reality. Now, I want to ask you all, knowing the disadvantages and the strengths, would you consider buying the RX1R III? Do the limitations bother you? Or do the amazing features make it worth the investment? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. And that's the beauty of this camera. It's not for everyone, but for the people it's perfect for, it's an absolute gem. I hope this video helped you understand the complete picture, so you can make a decision with full knowledge rather than just following the hype. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more honest camera reviews, real comparisons, and truth reveals about the gear everyone talks about but rarely shows in detail. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.